Okay, Michael in Indiana, I got your new George here. Give me a second, I'll show you a couple tests and then I'll show you the radio. Here it is right here. Nothing too crazy with these, just good performance. You know, it's not gonna blow you out of the world with AM modulation, so you know it's gonna sound nice and crystal clear, and I think that's what most would want. I know that's what I want. So this is AM. It's about a 4-watt dead key. This is with the standard President Electret condenser hand mic that comes with the radio. This is one of my own here that I use from time to time to test these radios. So, you know, we're seeing anywhere from 20, sometimes up to 25 peak, depending, you know, what word I say and stuff. Here's 26. So, just a general nice transmitter on this for AM. Good quality sound and everything. And not too much, just the perfect amount, I think. There it is right here. So, if I turn this down to level 5, which is going to give us about 2.5, somewhere in there. 2.5 watts or something right there. Then it's going to do just a little bit less, and you know, still going to do okay at that point too. It's somewhere around 10-11 watts at times. So you can also run it like this to run something with a little bit less if you want to drive something, you know, a little smaller. It's going to work fine right here. And I don't really know why anybody would want to run it down this low, but I guess maybe if you were running something that was QRP, I still think, well, maybe you could get by with it. I wouldn't do this. Maybe it'd be fun just to test it on the dummy load. But I do have a small HF amplifier here. It's Zygu. It's not really that small, I guess, the case, but it's XXPA125B is what it is. And I think I'd have to figure out a way to key it, though, because it's not hot. It doesn't hotkey. You have to have a PTT line to key it. But if I were, not that I would go through all the trouble just to demonstrate on a dummy load like how it would work, but this would drive that pretty good right here for a nice QRP. You know, this would work okay, because I think a lot of times you don't need but a couple watts on that anyways. It's not you don't need much power. So with my Hermes Light 2 that I use on HF, it works fantastic, and a couple watts drives that to about 70-80 peak. So for a nice driver for an SDR QRP rig, it works well, and it would probably do okay with this. So you might actually be overdriving it a little bit on, like, not that this radio would do 10 meter, but let's just pretend that it did or something. You know, it would probably be overdriving it, because you can easily overdrive those, and you have to be careful. But that's a whole other topic for a whole other day. But yeah, if you had something like QRP, it would definitely work with this low power. So something to think about, I guess. Kind of like the QT40 works the same way, but I think those might do a little bit more power, more like from 1 to like 4 to 5, I think. But anyhow, it's nice to see that the power is relevant to the carrier. That's something I like. Here's sideband. This is all the way up on sideband, so upper side here, mic gain's up all the way on the radio, and RF power's up all the way on the radio. So seeing about the same like I always see on these. This is lower sideband here, 1 2 3 1 2 3, check check, hello 1 2. So usually upwards of high 20s on these, sometimes 29 30 at times. It just depends, you know. So we turn this down to level 5, which is about halfway up now. It's going to do less power, of course, you know, which is perfect. And then turn this down to level 1. This is level 1 right here. So then this would probably still be too much for that Zygu. They don't need a lot of drive. You know, that's one of the killers of them, I guess, would be too much drive. They say they can take up to 5, but that doesn't mean that you should. There's certain bands where they're very gainy, and you definitely don't need 5. So, but you got to have a good quality meter and all that stuff to measure that kind of power, to know, you know, what's what with that. Otherwise, it'll fail on you. So that part is done. So let's come back over here and, oh, might as well show this. So this is going to be sideband with the two-tone. Let me unplug the mic and get those set up. With a SDR radio, you kind of need a little bit. I mean, yeah, you can talk QRP. Sometimes you'd be surprised what you can do, but you know, 70, 80 watts on HF definitely helps when the band is crowded. And then if you have another amplifier to excite that into, then obviously then, you know, sky's the limits. But this is the two-tone here, so it looks really nice. Here it is up here. This mount is kind of crooked, I know, but that's fantastic for sideband. So that part's done. Let's go to AM mode. Put this on here again. See, you should be at 4 watts. Okay. So our center frequency is here. 20 kilohertz. And modulation right there. It's perfect. Let's get the scope back in line here a little bit. There's your 4 watts too. So this will sit. There's, that's good. So there's our modulation. Looks really nice. Don't want to go too much on these because then they distort. Somebody will definitely probably figure out how to access this stuff, and they'll find out the hard way. Not so much by sounding bad, more when I say distort, more that it distorts on the spectrum analyzer. There's tons of extra power being shedded, bleeding. That's distortion. You're still going to sound good with these modern radios, so that's the misconception there, that I can turn everything wide open. And yeah, you can. Here's the AM mod on low. So it's a little bit cleaner mod down here. And of course, you know, that's, you don't really want to push it too much more on this. It definitely doesn't help the radio, so you have to be content kind of with the lower power. And I think most aren't really concerned with running a 1 watt carrier talking anyways. It's not going to do a whole lot for you, but it looks really nice there. So yeah, that's the thing with all, even the modern 10 meter radios, you can crank them wide open and they still sound good, but it's performance wise they start to suck. And that power is being bled over into the adjacent frequencies, and your power meter picks it up like, hey, yeah, that's cool, look at all that power, but not knowing what's actually going on behind the scenes is it's unfortunate. But you got to know, otherwise you're just wasting your time. So this one is pretty much ready to go.